of you that I just sent out all the information, so you're not quite here yet. And I got some text saying that you're coming in. And a lot of you are catching the replay, which is totally cool. So I'm really excited. My book is done. It's actually, I finished working on the book about a year ago, and it's been through the editing process, publishing process, which has been a very long process because I wanted to get it done right. And it is going to come out July 2nd. So for those of you guys that saw some of my posts on Instagram, as well as my Facebook page, I know that's where I'm going to be doing the launch party. So if you have not liked my Facebook page, it's called Living with Eve. It's on Facebook. I'll come back around and put it in the links down below. Oh, happy late Father's Day to everyone that's a dad and to everyone's mom. And to okay. Happy Father's Day. We're about a week late, but that was last week. So there we go. I kind of figured that's what it is, but yeah, it was about a week ago, and we had a good Father's Day as well. But we're going into 4th of July, which is super duper exciting, and that's where this book is actually coming into play. And the book is addressing parents. I might as well kind of use that, happy Father's Day. This is also for dads and moms. So it's not specifically to moms. I make sure that when we went through it, that it says parent, mom and dad. I put that kind of stuff in there so they knew it wasn't just for the moms. It's also to all the dads out there that stay home and homeschool or partner up with the homeschooling, because it is a corporate thing with mom and dad. So I do have some questions that I have. And if you guys have any questions about the book, put them in the comments below. But I'm going to go through like the basics really quick so you know what's going on. Like I said, it took me about a year to get through the whole editing and the publishing process. I'm doing it right. We are going to be doing a book signing at Barnes & Noble after the launch, which is July 2nd. And then a few days later, if you live in the area, I'm going to be reaching out to my homeschool posse around my area and saying I'm going to do like a book signing at Barnes & Noble's, because Barnes & Noble is going to be selling my book, as well as Amazon and anybody else that takes an ISBN, because we are now officially... what grade is this book for? Okay, it's not a curriculum, but it's for parents. Anyway, so I got the ISBN number down. It's registered now. Tomorrow, that date is when they're going to submit it to Amazon for approval. And because Amazon has like certain formats and stuff, you're going to be able to get it in. Yeah, I'm like really excited. Sorry, I want to catch the comments as they go, but I might have to write them down. And I did want to get back to the other one that was mentioned, but sorry. I am super excited. So yeah, Barnes & Noble, Amazon has a format with ebooks. I'm also in the process of recording the audiobook, believe it or not, because I know, like, seriously, between both me and my husband, I'm listening to so many audiobooks right now. I'm also it's going to be a while before I can do this because I haven't had time, but eventually I'm definitely going to start with Amazon Audible. And then I'm going to look to see how I can get it on Scribd. But that's probably, we're talking like a year or two from now, because I don't have that much, and plus then you can get it for free if I don't know how it works though, actually. Now that I think about it, I don't know how that works. I got to look up all the details with Scribd, but it would be cool to have it on Scribd. So that's something I'm looking at too, but definitely Audible I'm working on. I've got to record it first, but I'm in the process of that. So I feel like I'm talking way too fast because I'm really excited. Like kind of high school girl excited a little bit. Because it's finally done. That's a big deal. Really a big deal. So the title is called Freedom to Learn, Choosing Your Path to Homeschool Victory. Hi, Summer. Beware, Summer's gonna come in here and comment some crazy stuff, so just be prepared. I ruined it for you, I think. Yeah, it is a big deal. It is. I'm really excited, and I'm trying to, get the word out there, because I did pour a lot of my thoughts. So for those of you that don't know, I am a former public and private school teacher. I did teach middle school. So that was my niche, even though my certification, my original certification was for elementary school, K through 6. I ended up jumping into middle school because I had that 6th grade one. And in Florida, we do 6th, 7th, 8th as middle school. Yeah, and so I loved it. I became highly addicted to teaching middle school, and I love the kids. I taught, a lot of people don't know what I taught, but I taught everything from the extended learning program where I sit and work with kids, individual tutoring, specifically math. Like, I'm kind of a math junkie. And then it's really kind of weird, but I taught music, believe it or not. I taught chorus, and I taught drama, and I taught musical theater. Did the after school program with math, and then when I worked at the private school, I did Title I math, and I did do a couple of classes with language arts English. And then when I finished that, it was my son that was born, my second son. I didn't want to pay daycare, but I was really convicted about homeschooling, and I had gone to a homeschool convention, and I was like, this is it. This is what I'm doing. Actually, the story is actually in the book. It's more detailed, but so I decided that I was going to jump in with both feet, as in getting to know people. I started working at a homeschool co-op as their official science teacher for middle school and upper elementary, which I've been doing now for 10 years. So I just dated myself. I'm pretty old. I'm not, I look a lot younger. And at the same time, I started doing evaluations. So in the state of Florida, and it's really not scary. A lot of you guys may know, super not scary. In the state of Florida, an evaluator is needed for you to continue homeschooling each year, which is really easy because all the evaluators are homeschool moms that used to be teachers, or homeschool moms that went to college for teaching and have their certification. So all you have to do is have a teaching certification, but I really got into the evaluations and the testing. And so I do that. I mean, I do that every week. I'm doing that. I have a day blocked out, sometimes 2 days if it's really busy, where I just sit behind my desk and I just fill it up with evaluations, and I get to meet lots of really cool people, because this year I've actually done Zoom. In the past, I used to go to people's houses, but with all the gas prices, and then of course with Naomi at home, I want to be available very quickly. So with that being said, I've seen a lot, okay? A lot with a lot of parents. I've heard a lot of stories. I have a lot of friends that homeschool at the co-op. And the one thing that I found to be one of the struggles, there's many struggles that we go through, let's just say that, but one of the struggles that homeschool parents face is that they worry that their child they're not doing as well as they should, or they're not pairing up with, the kids their age in public school. And so I did a lot of research for this book, looking at the history of homeschooling, looking at the purpose of homeschooling and public schooling, a lot of history with public schooling, finding things out about Horace Mann, the fact that the model, and a lot of people know this. Sorry, I'm getting a text, random. It's about homeschooling. I will get to that later. Okay, so that's fun. It's someone at the co-op. So not many people know this. A lot of people, actually, a lot of seasoned homeschoolers know this. Some new, anyway. Prussian, our public school system, Horace Mann, what he did is he was on a mission to find the best public school system in the world. So he traveled from country to country, looking, just analyzing their school structure, and he found that the Prussian school model was the best. And so Prussian school model, if you can see what region that's in, was actually inspired by a philosopher about 100 years earlier that also inspired Hitler and the Nazi Party. So that really says a lot with how things are structured. Okay, so Horace Mann picked up. Oh, thank you. She likes my haircut. So Horace Mann, thank you. Horace Mann picks up this idea, this Prussian model. He brings it back to America, introduces it to the powers that be, and they form, a college, and they start sending these teachers to be trained over in Prussia, and then come back to the United States to help establish the educational system in the United States. One of their goals was they wanted to have people trained, because it was during the Industrial Revolution where people worked in factories. So they wanted people to be, when the bell rings, they hear the bell ring and they go to the next task, or they go on task, and they're obedient. They follow instructions to a T. They're quiet workers. They don't ask many questions. And so this is the training of that model of the public school system that was introduced by Horace Mann from Prussia. And you can see there's a lot of connection with a lot of things. I mean, there is. A lot of people don't know that. And to think that that is still the school system that exists today, obviously there's a couple of problems. One, our society doesn't work that way anymore. Like, we're not trying to build factory workers all the time. That's just not how it works anymore. And so there's a lot of issues with the public school system that kind of is self-created. Yeah, it is crazy. And as I started doing more research, there's a lot more stuff too. A lot more stuff. But and in the book, I do like a brief history. I don't go like into depth. I just give you, because a lot of people don't want to really get in depth too much. And if you do, I totally encourage you to go more in depth, because there's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. Anyway, so yeah, that really is the whole standing in line thing, right? That waiting in line, I mean, obviously it's polite, but being patient while you're waiting in line and being quiet while you're waiting in line, those kind of things was the idea of, how factories worked. But like I said, our system no longer works that way. And so the public school is, and even the private school, because the private school does pick up on that traditional model, which is based after the Prussian school. We pick up on that idea, and I don't know, it's just not reality anymore. It's not reality of our society. But still, because a lot of us parents that are choosing to homeschool, we ourselves are products of the public school system. And so even though we're like, we're not going to do it this way, we're not going to do it this way, we're not going to do it this way, and then we turn around and we're doing it that way because that's what we know and that's what we're used to. And then in the back of our head, it's always nagging, like, is your kid doing as good as, such and such in public school at their age? And here we are going out and taking a nationally normed test to compare our now, and there is a chapter about the nationally normed test. I think there's a time and place for it, but it does not define who your child is. It does not label your child. So that's something to keep in mind. I've done nationally normed test. I think it's a good tool if your kid is someone who is going to go into college. It's a tool. It's a tool that they can use to practice and get used to those standardized tests so they can get ready for the SATs. And if they are going to go to college because they want to be an engineer, and the only way to be an engineer is with a college degree, they need to learn how to do the things that they don't necessarily want to do in order to do the things that they have to do. That's actually a quote from my book, because I say that all the time. And so, standardized test, I think, in that case is really good. But you don't even have to you could just do regular fill in the blank test. But the point is that the public school should not define who your child is. It should not dictate to you the way your child should be raised. Most of us live in a country where we have the freedom to choose, and we should be able to embrace that freedom. Like, we have that right now. We may not have that in the future. And so, I want parents to understand that your child is created unique, and they're not always going to fit that public school model, and they shouldn't have to fit that public school model. They should be the way that they were created, just period, end of story. So with that being said, so that's the title. It's Freedom to Learn, Choosing Your Path to Homeschool Victory. And the idea is, what is victory? Victory is your choice. Does that make sense? It didn't sound as powerful as it was in my head when I was trying to think of the words to say it. But the victory is freedom. Hey, there you go. The victory is the fact that you have freedom, period. So, okay. So book releases next Saturday night, July 2nd, 7:30. I've invited friends. I haven't invited that many friends. So if you're watching this and you're my friend and you live near me, Let me know you want to come. Victory. I know, you know what? I see those like arm muscles and it makes me think of Encanto. I don't know why. So like ADHD brain. Um, no, I'm really excited. So if you know me and you wanted to show up, you know, you're welcome. Just talk to me in person. Yay, Ashley's here. Wow, look at you guys. Yep. So thankfully our kids don't have to fit that model because they sure didn't. That's calm, chaos homeschool. Yeah. And see, that's the other thing. There's a whole section on special needs, exceptionalities. Those kids don't fit the model and they never will. They in a unique fashion with unique gifts and abilities. Like, I mean, I always joke around because, and this is actually kind of funny because I was like a C student in my English class. Here I am writing a book. I wouldn't be a C anymore because no, but I was always in like the, you know, average class with language arts. I did really well in theater, but in math and science, hi. Sorry, I like to say hi to everybody. But math and science, I was a plus plus plus. I was setting the curves on the calculus test. But because of that, it brought my overall GPA down. And I didn't, you know, I wasn't considered like valedictorian or whatever. And I was not always like, you know, anyway, the point is that we all have different strengths and talents and such like that. So that's kind of where that comes from. And the idea to, I mean, think about it, it's not even reality. Like, do you really finish college? Thank you so much. Organized chaos budgeting. Thank you. I just want to talk to you guys. I was an AP. Yeah, Ashley. You're the opposite of me. I was gonna say you're nerd. No, I was a nerd. I had someone threaten to beat me up because I set the curve on the biology exam and she was not able to pass and she had to go to summer school. So she actually threatened to beat me up because my lovely science teacher, who's amazing, by the way, he was absolutely science. Amazing. He was absolutely science. He was absolutely amazing. Oh, look, yeah, I'm wearing a Colorado shirt, by the way. I don't know why I'm wearing a Colorado. I've never been to Colorado, but I have a shirt and I like it. Anyway, I don't know if you noticed that. See, I'm totally jumping around. I'm sorry, guys. It's the comments. Like, follow along with it. Hopefully, if you're watching the replay, you can follow the comments. But yeah, she threatened to beat me up. My science teacher announced that I was the one that set the curve, and she threatened to beat me up. That's my favorite shirt you have, and you're Back to the Future. Ashley, you know my shirts. Oh, I still want to go to Colorado. Everybody says it's beautiful. I know a few people there. I do. That's on my bucket list. It is. There's a lot of things on my bucket list. But anyway, back to the book, which hopefully, like, to be honest, just to throw that out there, I really want to speak at conventions. So if there's a convention in Colorado, maybe I should just like apply and go. I don't know. I gotta learn how to do all the applications. So that's something I would love to do. I love talking. I love YouTube, but I like talking in person too, because there's like a different kind of, like, you can get feedback. Are they smiling? Are they bored? And then you know where to go with. It's like teaching, you know. Anyway, I would love to talk about this more, like, at conferences. I have 2 that I'm doing this summer, but they're digital, and I will let you know. I'm really excited. Because it's going beyond YouTube, and but I'll get into that. Oh, people are blowing up fireworks outside. Okay, so just Freedom to Learn, Choosing Your Path to Homeschool Victory, July 2nd at 7:30 live on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. There's a convention in Alaska. Ooh, do you want to go? Like, I want to go to Alaska. I really do, actually. I want to go everywhere, but that's just me. Okay, so live on YouTube and Facebook. My Facebook page is called Living with Eve. Obviously, my channel is Living with Eve. Okay, so one of the questions that the cruise, yes! I want to go on a cruise. Alaskan cruise. That's the only one. I've already done like the Florida, Bahama cruises, and I'm over it. I want to go to Alaska. I'd rather freeze. Okay, so, sorry. What is the book about? That's a question that somebody asked me. So I had to write this all down. I kind of talked a little bit about it, but kind of to sum it up, embracing what works for you, not letting others. That just not only includes um stop it, Summer. I see that squirrel. Okay, that does include the national education system, any international education system. That includes people that you live with, like in-laws, like if you live with your in-laws, or well, no, just or your, I don't know. I'm thinking in-laws, and that squirrel threw me off, Summer. That was your goal and you succeeded. No. No. In-laws may not agree with you. Friends may not agree with how you're homeschooling. So don't let others, like friends, you want your husband to influence you or your wife to influence you because it's a family thing. And, at times, yeah, you guys are so funny. At times, you can let your in-laws influence you with wisdom, using wisdom, because sometimes it can be bad. Okay, I know you guys are at it. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm gonna look at my paper. Oh gosh. All right, so don't let others, including the national education system, including friends, influence your choices. So, yeah, random pop quizzes from the in-laws. They do. They check in on you to see if your kids are measuring up. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Especially not to like talk about my family, but my family, pretty much everybody's a school teacher. Like, I'm just gonna put that out there. And that has been, oh yeah, what grade level it was. I did. It's for parents. It's not a curriculum. It's not a curriculum. It's an encouragement book for parents, not a curriculum. So I don't know, like, if grade level, I mean, normally things are written at a 5th grade level, but content wise, it should, I mean, parents should read it. Kids would not follow along. It's not a curriculum. It's a parent encouragement book, and it's encouraging parents to embrace what works for you and not letting others, including national education system, influence your choices. So I do talk about the history of public school system. I do go into some teaching styles and different philosophies out there for those parents, and it's just like 1 or 2 chapters for those parents that are new to the game, that don't understand that there are other things out there than the traditional method. And they just need a little bit, like they need it on a piece of paper in front of them to say, okay, I'm not so overwhelmed because this is kind of the biggies. So I point out the big ones. I go over the purpose of standardized testing. I talk about what colleges actually want. I've actually spoken to some guidance counselors in the past, just because with evaluations, there's a lot of things like parents ask me questions and I want to know the answer to those questions. And if I don't know the answer, I have a list of people that I can reach out to really quick, or I can give them information to reach out to those people. So I have spoken to a few guidance counselors and talked to them, ask them what colleges actually want with the homeschool, and it's obviously changing. It's changing a lot, actually. Colleges aren't looking for high school. In fact, they're actually, they like homeschoolers, especially in the state of Florida. I know other schools recognize it as well. But homeschoolers are committed. They're self-disciplined. I'll talk about that in a second. They're self-disciplined. They're smart. They're smarter than a lot of these high school graduates, and they're driven. And so colleges really, really like them and want to take them in. Somebody asked a question that was kind of off top, which is fine. I'm totally up for it. You can see people are posting squirrels in the comment section. So off-topic stuff is happening. But they asked about an annual evaluation assessment, which is what I do. There's an email. I'll try to put it in the comments. I can't comment, can I? So you're funny, Summer. It's lei101978@hotmail.com. I do have a Gmail too. I also have a website, and the website will actually, let me take you that direction. I've been nervous about giving out my last name, but I've made the decision that I'm okay with that. So my Gmail actually has my last name. And I'm not going to get into that at all because I had a situation and I didn't want to reveal my last name for a really long time. And so there's a little bit of a hesitancy here, as you can see. So if you could go to www.livingwitheve.com and you can even look on that and it'll show you how to get in touch with me. It'll link you right up to my email. But my book's going to have my last name on it. So we're going to the next level. For me, so I'm gonna have to like get over that. I realize people can find me regardless if I try to use a fake pen name. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So, history of public school teaching styles, philosophies, purpose of standardized testing, what colleges actually want, and there are a ton and tons and tons of stories. I know it will be. Tons and tons of stories. So, like I said, every single person that I tell a story of, I spoke to them. So it's, and their names are changed as well. So, I mean, I'm giving a lot of examples of people who did out of the box kind of homeschooling and their child is successful. Or maybe they were very rigid with their homeschooling and then they had still problems with their, I don't think I have that many. I think maybe one of those. But just a lot of just out of the box type homeschooling examples that you think that this person's going to raise horrible kids, because us homeschool moms, like, we judge. We are like the worst sometimes. I'm just going to put that out there because I'm guilty of it. I try not to be. I'm actually not that bad, but no, I'm not that judgment. I don't judge. I've learned not to judge. That's what I should say. With age comes wisdom. But I in the past, I have judged. And a lot of these people, you're so sincere. And yeah, prayers of protection. These are some weird. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there are. There's so much I want to say, but this is not the place to. But I would tell you the whole story, but I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, yeah, I've learned not to judge, especially since these stories, seeing these success stories of people who I thought were going to fail and all they've done was just succeed. You know, one of my favorite stories in there, I mean, I've seen so many families with so many unique things. One of the stories in there, it's like the third chapter, I talk about it because it's such a crazy story, but she homeschooled. She had 6 kids, and when her youngest daughter, I don't remember how old her youngest daughter was, baby, her husband died in a tragic car accident. And so she had to find a way to homeschool her kids, and because she didn't want to send them to public school with all the pressure, her kids needed to be around her. And so she full-blown, what did she call it? Something different, but it was similar to unschooling. And there was little things about the way she did it that one would think that her kids would not be successful. But here she has some kids with like serious, strong wisdom. You know, the oldest one, I can't remember what he did. One of them is a hairdresser. One of them is an art teacher in the public school. Another one, oh gosh, is an architect school. She's in architect school. 2 of them are still, no, one of them just graduated high school this year. He graduated high school. I don't know. I haven't talked to her to ask her what he's doing now. But there's one that's still in high school, actually. I think this is right. I have to double check. But anyway, I don't think anyone thought her children were going to be successful with everything going on. So I've got lots of stories in there about that to just encourage you that you don't have to fit the mold, period. So getting out of the idea that school's education system dictate what they should learn. That's that. Someone asked where to buy it. Amazon.com, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and eventually I'm sure it's going to circulate. Those are the big stores. It's got an ISBN. So it's registered. And so pretty much any store can buy it. But I know definitely Amazon and definitely Barnes & Noble website. And I would love for you guys, if you do read it, to give me a review on Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, specifically Goodreads and Amazon. Those are the big ones. So another person asked me, is it from a Christian perspective or a secular perspective? Okay. So being a believer as I am, the book is going to have Christian overtones. However, there is a lot of principles in there that can apply to someone who does not believe in God. So the way I formatted that book is I talk about all the things. And then if I really wanted to drive in, something that is spiritual related, I did a separate section at the end of the chapter to talk about the spiritual implications of it. The book is not preachy at all. Like I was saying, if it's somebody that gets the book and they're not into talking about spirituality, they can just skip over that part and move on to the next chapter. So, yeah, that's kind of the gist. It was very difficult for me to write a book that didn't include any spiritual aspect of anything. Like I had to include God because he's the creator of the universe. He's the sustainer of the universe, and he's where our identity is found anyway, not in the public school system mold. So it was very difficult for me to leave any of that out. So I didn't. I do in my mind though, I've been in a lot, actually, this is more personal. Hi. Oh, yay. Hi. Alicia just jumped on. I want to write a second book. But I have been lately really digging into the idea of where is our identity from, and also teaching our kids, all of that, all those things, but also from a more biblical perspective. Another thing, because I am gearing my channel to more special needs education, and homeschool specific education, obviously I'm going to continue talking about, things and tips and support and encouragement and like curriculum out there that works, how I'm working with Naomi, what these different, like I'm going to do like a whole special needs homeschooling, what parents are asking. But one of the things I do want to touch on is there is a thought out there, and it hit home because it was a believer that said this to me, a very strong believer that said this. They didn't say it to me, I overheard it. Okay. The fact that they had a relative that had a disability and they were not sure if they were saved. And so part of me is like, from that Christian perspective, we should not try to put that in a box, I guess is what to say, because God can do anything. And regardless if they have a disability or maybe they are mute, they can't talk, or there's some disabilities out there that are just, they're pretty much almost like a vegetable. God doesn't speak. He speaks to our heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if God wants them saved, he's going to make sure they get saved. Like, it's like he speaks to our heart. So that's something I've been chewing on a lot lately. And I might have a video on it. I might talk more in depth, because that moved me a lot. But that's not what the book is about. As sad as that is, and that is not what this book is about. This book is your freedom to choose how you want to homeschool your kids. And one of the freedoms that we have as Christians, as believers, is that we can pick out the curriculum that we want to use to teach our kids. And then there's going to be a whole nother thought. Like, my brain is going in different directions with that. So I'll just leave it at that before I go on to a tangent that has nothing to do with my book. Do you guys have any questions? Those were the main questions that were coming up. Simple ones like, what is the book title? What is it about? When does it release? Where is it going to be sold? Those were the main questions I was getting. Do you guys have any questions? Now I should just open it up to random Q&A. I'm looking to see. Like an Alaskan cruise. The question is, do I want to go on an Alaskan cruise? Yes, I do. We've been talking about it for a very long time, me and my husband. I want to go see all the things. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to go check the comments really quick. It's kind of hard to find sometime. Live chat. There we go. Now I see it all. And you have to see my finger as I scroll. I don't know if half these people are here. It is a big deal. Like, squirrel. That's for him. Yeah, thankful. I love this one where she says, thankfully, our kids don't have to fit the mold because they sure didn't. They don't. Nobody fits the mold. Like, seriously, if they fit the mold, I'd be concerned. I would be very concerned. That's awful. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't be concerned. That's not true. Because if they do fit the mold, then the mold was modeled. Some kids fit naturally. I shouldn't say that. That some kids naturally can adjust to that mold. Mine don't fit the mold. I can say that much. Colorado. Yeah, I want to go so bad. I've never been. A convention in Alaska. See, I didn't read that all the way through. I'm new here. Okay, gotcha. Squirrels. Yeah, random pop quiz from the in-laws. Yeah, so I told her where she can look, we're all flawed anyway, because she's talking about, I'm looking at the one where she says I'm not judgy. We're flawed. So I guess saying that I'm judgy, not all the time, but I mean, I can be judgy. That's true, because I'm flawed. And I think we all are. I think the key is to be humble. We've been talking about that. Where is it? Do you want me to read chapter? Do you want me to read, or section? Do you want me to read the introduction? I pulled it up because I was like, well, maybe somebody wants me to read an excerpt. Any thumbs up? Do you want me to read? You want to save it for the launch party? Yay. Yay. Okay, so this is the introduction. So I'll just read. So most people think it's just a natural progression of life. Raising kids is just what you do when you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. But I see this as a calling. The reality is, though, that not everyone has this opportunity. This opportunity is actually the highest of all opportunities. We are entrusted to raise little humans in a chaotic world, decide what we think is best for them, and then guide them as they make life decisions. They rely on us more than we'll ever know. We are their world, their mentor, their best friend. Every decision they make is indirectly influenced by us. Our impact on their lives is incomparable to any other job, and it's the best job ever. Every parent has a right to make the best decision for their kids. This includes education too. In a world where education has been programmed and schooling has been designed for the masses, parents can be pressured, even brainwashed, into doing what they truly don't want to do. Even within the homeschool movement, parents feel obligated to teach against the nature of who their child is, feel as though they have to meet certain goals, use a certain curriculum, and form their children into a human being that they themselves have been pressured into molding. In the end, they feel unsatisfied, frustrated, and alone. As a homeschool evaluator, former teacher, and mom, I see this all the time. Parents are worried and they need reassurance. Reassurance that they are not crazy for thinking that what they want is what is best. They need a reassuring voice with firsthand experience to bring that to them. This is where I would like to step in. I have met with many families over the years. During our evaluations and testing sessions, we look through their child's work and talk about their progression. We even discuss their goals and passions. I answer questions about how homeschooling usually works, and I even give my best advice. I can honest and humbly say that after I walk out of their homes, many parents feel empowered. They realize that they always knew what was best, and now they can begin to step into that. I am also very passionate about working with parents of kids who have special needs. This can be a whole different and even isolating world. I love reaching out to those families and letting them know that they are not alone, that they are not failing their child, that they are still in control, and honestly, that what they are experiencing emotionally is normal. As my youngest daughter has Down syndrome, I understand all of this, not from an education perspective, but from a mom's perspective. In addition to all of this, and then I talk about my YouTube channel because it's the introduction. I have a YouTube channel where I influence thousands of viewers a month, not just homeschool parents, but also parents of kids who have special needs and learning disabilities. And then my channel offers parents hope by showing them that they are not alone in this journey. With all of my experience and my professional teacher and all of teaching, professional teacher, as in a professional teacher, sorry, and all of my training as an educator, I still find myself learning, which is so true. Like, seriously. But I also find that through my experiences, I am able to share helpful tips and advice that the struggling homeschool parent can use to thrive and succeed. I want to see every parent empowered to do exactly what they were created to do. So on my channel, I've made videos that range from different homeschooling philosophies to homeschool laws. I've shared my struggles with getting my kids to finish their work, how we considered vacation as learning, and even share ideas to help parents of kids with special needs navigate through this homeschool world. And then, yeah, so I'm skipping that part because it's about my YouTube channel, which if you guys are on here, you already know. But I was a homeschool mom. Oh, before I was a homeschool mom, I was a professional teacher in both private and public schools. Students would grace me with their presence every year, and I am thankful for all they've taught me regarding their independence and uniqueness. Unfortunately, I also saw firsthand how these students were treated as just another name and a number, how decisions were made based on rules and regulations rather than who they were or how they learned. I watched as students with special needs were brushed aside and hidden in a classroom away from everyone else to be merely babysat by a substitute teacher because no one could be found to fill the position. That's another thing I don't think I talk about that in the book, but the idea that sometimes you have two teachers, there's situations where the main teacher and then the assistant teacher, the main teacher will go off and have to do meetings and IEP stuff and all the paperwork, and she doesn't really even know what's going on with the kid. It's the assistant. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, I'm going to keep reading. I didn't see any comments yet, so I'll go back and check. Okay, around that time, I saw the anxiety, around test time, I saw the anxiety level increase for everyone. I saw students rise in popularity based on the success, while other students are trampled on based on their failures. Worst of all, I witnessed the lies and deceit that were fed to students through bad procedures and curriculum to brainwash them to be something that they were not, fashioning them instead into what the system wanted them to be. The trust that we have lost over the years from our schools, politicians, public school curriculum writers, and teachers has only increased. It forces us to seek better alternatives, yet they still hold us in bondage. Ultimately, I feel a tremendous burden to see families break free and be who they are meant to be. My hope for this book is that it reaches the parent who is struggling to rediscover their purpose. The parent so burnt out that all they want to do is give up, even though they know it would be going against their calling. I hope this book reaches that parent who worries, thinking they have ruined their child's future, the parent who is afraid to find out what the future holds for them, the parent who feels like they have failed. I hope this book reaches the homeschool parent who feels alone, isolated, frustrated, scared, and hopeless. In this book, you will find wisdom and truth, and you will find encouragement and motivation to just keep going. Nothing in this world should hold you back from being that parent you were meant to be, and nothing should hold your child back either. It's never too late to break free, and that is what you will get from this book, a renewed sense of freedom. You were created to homeschool your child. If you weren't, you wouldn't be reading this book, but you feel it deep down inside your soul. These are your children, your family. No one else on this planet can replace them. No one else on this planet understands them more than you. I understand this feeling because I feel this too deeply. I pray that you read this book. As you read this book, the chains will loosen, your eyes will open, you will find yourself laughing, playing, and holding your children as you learn together, no matter what age they are. You are their teacher, their parent, and their mentor. And so then this is like when I talk about special considerations. So as a believer in Messiah, much of my ideas and thoughts are inspired by biblical teaching. It is the foundation of how I think. However, I know not everyone thinks this way. So when I wrote this book, I wanted everyone to glean from it regardless of faith or belief, but I didn't want to deny the creator of all of this. He is the essence of life itself and everything that makes me who I am. So I did two things. First, I randomly included acknowledgement of him when it was necessary through the book without going on a tangent. It is nothing that would offend anyone. In fact, you may not even notice that it's there. Second, I included points where I take a quote-unquote spiritual moment. Here I sum up the chapter or sections with God at the forefront. It is meant to put everything into a perspective within a Christian worldview. It is my heart and soul. So if you choose to skip these sections, I totally understand. But for those of us that need this encouragement, including me, it is there. It is there for us so we can take time to lean on him and recognize his handiwork and providence over all of our lives. Without the Lord, this book would not be possible. So I have no choice but to take time to glorify him. Either way, I hope that this will immensely bless, I'm sorry, either way, I hope that you will be immensely blessed by this book so much that it changes your life for the better. So that's the introduction, and you guys are still here. So that's the introduction. And it has like, I want to say like, it's 202 pages. I mean, and the font it's not tiny. It's not like, you know, some books have tiny font. It's like the normal book size font. And it's got some pretty, like, you know, the beginning of the chapters, the words are all like pretty. The first letter, it's got that, like some really pretty font. So that's the introduction. And yeah, so if it resonates, you know, it might be something that you guys want to check out. You can always ask me questions. Yeah, because that, I guess it's easier sometimes when you're writing it down to say what you want to say than when I'm just on YouTube and I'm talking. Sometimes I get into that mode, but not all the time. Sometimes it's really hard. So, but that really is me sitting down and praying and meditating on what I want to say. So I hope that this kind of answers some questions. Oh, I got to check the comments. Okay, if you have a question, put a question really quick before I sign out. And then, like I said, I'm checking all the comments really quick. Yay, summer. Oh, no, I shouldn't say yay, summer love, but she told me to that. Okay. So she's uploading. Okay, someone said now I need to know if we can pre-order. So it's not even uploaded to Amazon. It's going to be uploaded to so when you submit it to Amazon, they do a they have to do like a 48 72 hour check. And so the idea is she's going to upload it tomorrow or Tuesday. I don't know what she said. If there's some errors with it, it gives her time to go back and fix. And it's all technical stuff. Like maybe like the format is wrong or something like that. So that gives her a little buffer. There is a possibility you might be able to get it on Thursday or Friday, but I can't promise you that because like I said, if there's a technical issue, she has to go back and fix it and then resubmit it. But she does this. This is her thing. Like this is what she does for a living. So she probably won't make an error. So, but the launch date is July 2nd. And then let's see. Okay. Yes, this is why I love your channel. It feels like getting advice and assurance from a friend while living somewhere I don't have a lot of other homeschool families draw from. Yeah. See, and okay, I have to comment on that because I was talking to my husband about that the other day from the homeschool convention. Like, I don't want to get that big. And people like people will leave, you know, I get lots of weird comments. Like comments like she's doing this just for views, like just like they make assumptions. I don't want to get that big. And the reason I don't want to get that big is because if you get too big, you can't communicate, like you can't engage with people. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to be able to engage with people, whether it's like reading their comments, because when I go through my comments, every time I read a comment, I give it a thumbs up and heart. I don't always like comment back because some of them are just like statements and it's like, that's really good. Heart, thumbs up. So if I've read your comment, you get a heart and thumbs up. But I like to take the time to read through the comments and hear the heart of the person on the other side. I try my best to comment on everything, but sometimes I don't know what to say except for like, this is awesome. Maybe I should just comment, thank you for sharing. I feel like that's so cheesy. Thank you for sharing. I sometimes type that in. Yeah. I mean, I want to reach the people that need that encouragement from a friendship because that's what it really comes down to. Because like I said, sometimes just in general with the homeschool community in general, yeah, I'm talking way too much, Ashley. Sorry. Sometimes in general with the homeschool community, depending on where you live, it could be very isolating. And for the homeschool special needs community, that is really, really isolating. I tend to put myself out there, so I don't like to feel isolated. But I know a lot of people, they're scared to put themselves out there because they don't want people to judge them and tell them they're doing it wrong. I mean, to be honest, we have enough of that coming at us from lots of directions all the time. I mean, everything, and I'm not Therapists are great. I love occupational therapists, physical therapy, all those things. But they're not afraid to make a list of goals and constantly remind you of what you need to be working on, or if they're not excelling in a certain area. And it gets exhausting. And even like going to the grocery store, and people like judging you based on your kid's behavior. I'm a little bit lucky because my child looks like she has a disability, but not all kids do. And that's so incredibly difficult because then they just assume in their head, they get judgy and they think it's you, the parent, that are not able to parent kids. I saw a situation in a grocery store where the mom, she was a special needs mom, and somehow she just saw Naomi and gave me her business card saying, I work with, I don't know what it was. It had to do with special needs. But her child had threw himself on the floor right after she talked to me, and she picked him up and carried him out of there. And somebody commented something really nasty to her about like, and that's how you train your children, to just let you pick them up and take them out. Like, it was just one of those like, really, really, like, why? Okay, I'm sorry, it's disappearing. Don't disappear a comment. Okay, top chat. Oh, my finger, you're gonna see my finger left. So where I live, there is no co-op, and I have some very extroverted kiddos, and it feels so overwhelming sometimes trying to make sure they get what they need. Yeah, that's hard. That's really hard. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I can't push buttons. Yeah, that's really difficult. I do evaluations for someone that lives out in the middle of nowhere. And I think she has like one friend that she communicates with, and that's it. It's really hard. See, I'm at the opposite end where like we have so many in our area. We have so many people that homeschool. I mean, I'm in a big city. We have so many people that homeschool in our area. We have so many co-ops that it's hard to build relationships with people that are deep and meaningful because we're all so busy. And like the co-op skippers that jump around from co-op to co-op, like they take a class one year and they're like, I'm gonna try another one. You don't get to build relationships with them, and that's also something that's really hard too. So do you guys have any other questions? I think I got all these taken care of. Launch party next week. If you know me and you live near me, text me. You can come over. So if not, I've got 11 of you guys still here. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I am going to put a poll up just to kind of close this out. I am going to put a poll up because I want to be able to provide what you guys need on my channel. I want to make it more about what you need and what I can help provide. So whether it's education, whether it's looking for curriculum for kids with special needs, because I am going to make it like very more focal on special needs education. But there is curriculum out there that is good, that can be used for special needs and others. And just general homes. Actually, to be honest, I feel like all of us have kiddos with special needs. I didn't say that. Sometimes it feels that way. And I don't know, like, because none of our kids fit the mold, we feel like there's something, I don't know. This is a silly random statement. But I guess more what it is, because obviously when you have Down syndrome, a child has Down syndrome, there are so many more needs that I need to provide for her, that a child who has ADHD, it's different needs, but it's not as intense. You know what I mean? A kid that has Parkinson's, or they're wheelchair bound, like cerebral palsy. I know I have a lot of friends actually in that situation. I just destroyed my pen because I'm fidgeting. And that, just knowing what they're going through, brain damage, lots of those things, is definitely way more challenging than a lot of other things that we, it's tough. But there are a lot of things when talking about parenting special needs that could really like cross over to just homeschooling in general. So even if you don't have a child that has a disability, you can definitely glean from this channel, especially since I'm really wanting to delve more into my book. What my book talks about is encouraging parents when your child doesn't fit the mold, and it's okay that they don't fit the mold. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. I hope I didn't say too much. I actually have been talking for an hour. What's cool though is on Saturday, I will mention I have some friends coming over that homeschool that are going to talk too. So it's not just going to be me talking. I have one she better still come over. She better, because she just had a baby and she's like that super mom. She's a large family. She just keeps having babies. Like when I stopped, she kept going, and she is a very strong believer. And I don't know, she's like super mom. I can't even just, she was homeschooled, actually. That's fun. She was homeschooled. I should have mentioned that. And she was, oh, I'm just going to drop names here. Her best friend was Ashley Wiggers, whose mom was Debbie Strayer. If you know the curriculum, Learning Language Through Literature, Debbie Strayer wrote that. If you know the curriculum, Galloping the Globe, that's Ashley. And also, I think Debbie also did that too. But the big, oh, what's that one that I can't think of? Galloping the Globe. That one, that's for the younger kids. But then when you hit middle school, there's another curriculum out there that Ashley wrote. And Ashley's very open. She has a learning disability as well. So, yeah. I guess I'm going to head out because I don't know, unless you guys have any more questions. You're still here. Okay. I'm going to say goodbye, sign out. Obviously no video tomorrow, but I'll have a video up on Thursday. And then we will have our little party on Saturday night. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye. If I figure out how to, oh, there it is. Bye.